I am happy to share with you the first episode of the Low Up podcast. I know I'm coming in with a lot of excitement because this is something that I was working on for a while. And I'm happy, to bring it to some level of reality. Today's first episode is with Spirit Soul Sense. She's a clinically trained psychologist, and she has a wealth of knowledge on various subjects regarding mental health and all manners of things. So, what did we talk about? Mostly Tinder, what's happening in the DMs, and nothing related to mental health. Yeah, I know, and that is my fault. I apologize. I do want to get to the deeper topics at some point, get to the things that really matter, but on this particular episode, this was not the case. But if you enjoy this episode, there's going to be more like it, and if you leave comments on what you enjoyed, we can always work it out later in the future. Guys, this is the first episode of the Low Up Podcast to make a Grow Up podcast. Guys, enjoy. Spirit Soul Sense. Yes.
That's me.
So yes, you have an amazing channel.
Thank you.
I enjoy, watching your videos, learning from you. I didn't say this earlier in the introduction, but I should have. You happen to be one of the wisest people that I know,
You.
always sharing that good wisdom. And the reason I ask you so many questions, really tough ones, is because even though I ask them, most of the time you're like 91% right. So it's like that 9%, you know what you will, but that's a 91% accuracy rate. So I want
Just a perspective.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Spirit Soul Sense, you definitely want to check that out.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to that. But what made you want to start Spirit Soul Sense?
Why did I start it again? Why did I start it? I felt like I needed something to exist that captured my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2017, what happened in 2017? I went through a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was posting on Facebook every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how I've ever used social media.
Mm-hmm.
But for a year, I posted like almost every day.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of perspectives that people, I guess, thought were wise or were interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had the experience of, not a lot of people were commenting or liking, but in real life, people would come up to me and they would try to have a conversation about something I posted and how much they liked it and all that stuff. And then a couple of people told me that I needed to start a podcast or a blog or something. And at the time, I was like, definitely not. Why would I ever put myself out there like that? Because one of the reasons I like Facebook is because I know everybody. Every one of my Facebook friends are someone I know in real life.
Yeah.
So I'm like other people, strangers reading my stuff.
Yeah, strangers.
I don't like that.
Internet.
But I ended an abusive relationship in 2018, and there was a lot of creativity sparked when that relationship ended, and I had the idea of doing something, and I thought I needed to do video with it. I really wanted to do a podcast. I'm like, nobody have to see me. They'll be unlikely to find me in real life. But that was fear. I was just like afraid of whatever.
Yeah.
And so I ended up with the YouTube channel, and just from the beginning, it's been I just need to get all these ideas out. Just get them out. I just need to do a video on this. I just need to talk about this. I just need to say this out loud. And now it's sort of shifted to trying to ride the wave. I call it like, making it something people actually want to see now versus I just have to get this out.
Just getting it out for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I go back and forth. Like the clinical psychology stuff is for me. That's for me. So I could look back in however many years and think, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like I tell people like where I am now in life is as far as I dreamed. Like this was it, And now I'm 31, and it's like I have so much life left to live.
Yeah.
What the world do I do now?
That's so cool.
What's another
Yeah.
dream? I've
Mm-hmm.
been trying to think of like what's the other, because there's nothing in my life that I've thought about as intensely as I want to be a psychologist. This is what I want to do. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I see it. Years and years. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have another. There's no other goal I have yet that'll take years and years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know. So
Yeah.
that's why I started.
Interesting. I think that's so cool. And who knows, where your pathing can go. It can go a myriad of ways.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. In terms of manifesting, I think that's just a
Yeah.
cool like life example of what you wanted to do and this vision that you saw. It's like pathing, and kind of like a weird jagged edge. Hey, but you
I know.
but you made it.
I did.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Very cool. I enjoyed. You know what? I'm gonna stay away from the political stuff. This time I kind of enjoyed.
My political video.
No, I enjoy a good bit of your videos. I mean, the
Oh.
politics was the most recent one I
Yeah.
saw, but what I enjoy most is your opinion on relationships whenever you do talk about it.
I think that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I have a friend in Belgium
Mm-hmm.
who has called me a relationship expert, and I'm like, girl, that can't be me.
Yeah.
That can't be me. I think I understand myself
Mm-hmm.
fairly well,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand people in general,
Mhm.
right? And even though I have like categories for people in my mind, I always like give room for people to be outside the box that I try to put them into,
Mm-hmm.
understand them better.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about doing more relationship type videos because we're in a relationship now, and so it's like, well, let's give this perspective of what it's like sort of evolving with somebody. And it's like, I really don't know much.
Right.
I don't really know that much.
Yeah.
I think the best way to have a healthy and happy relationship is to have a healthy and happy relationship with yourself first.
Mm.
And then everything sort of falls into place. I hope, I think. I don't know. I don't.
Well, I'll tell you this. It doesn't necessarily, your relationship may not work out,
Right.
but you work out. I went on this path of, hey, there needs to be a particular kind of healing in myself, for a while. Oh man, I just need to figure things out, make things as holistic as I possibly can. And I didn't date for a while because of that. Sometimes I just ended relationships. This just needs to be holistic. I gotta figure, and then I got to a point where I said, okay, I think this is healthy. I'm in a good, healthy place. I think relationship time, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship didn't work out.
But I don't. So like one of the things. Okay, and I like to get different perspectives because I think there's no one way. There was a woman who was on Oprah Super Soul Sunday talking about a relationship that saved her. She was not healthy, and she was not in a healthy place.
Yeah.
But there was this like beacon of light in a man who had the patience and who resonated so much with her that she was encouraged to become a better person.
Oh.
Right. So I feel like there's no. It's wonderful. Because I even think about like my abusive relationship. It was verbally abusive. It wasn't like anything physical. But had we, there's so many ifs, right? Had we been back home the entire time the relationship was spanning, and had we had the community involvement that happens a lot.
Home in St. Lucia.
In St. Croix.
St.
How dare you?
Croix. How dare me?
Who lives in St. Lucia? Do you know anybody from
Time
St.
out.
Lucia?
St. Lucians, it's okay. I didn't mean that. St. Croix.
Okay. I think I have a video on my channel that talks about
You wild.
talks about the an African tribe and how they view relationships, and it's for the purpose of the community, which is like how I view relationships. It's not just me and you coming together; it's me and you, because I also believe in having children, but to benefit the community. Like we are going to put our skills together to help benefit the community. And once there's community involvement, it's less likely that you're going to break up. Why would you break up? Why would you break up? And so like trying to figure out like why do 70% of women end marriages? What could be so terrible? And it's really part of the new thinking that marriages should be for you. And all your needs have to be met. And if all your needs are not being met, then this must not be it.
Right.
But the needs that they're like arbitrary. They're not like tangible things.
Right.
He's not romantic enough.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You ended a marriage because he wasn't romantic enough. I think that's ridiculous.
That's wild.
I think that's ridiculous. Well, a lot of those divorces are like that, where they feel like, oh, he's not helping around the house as much, or with the kids, and I have enough money, and the divorce laws mean you're gonna get money from him when you divorce, and so it's like, why should I can get something better? You probably won't.
I was about to say, the truth is,
you probably won't. But
you might end up back in square one. The thing is, I think when people get in a relationship or they get married, they forget what it's like to go dating again. Unless you're doing it, first off, it's struggle central dating.
No, it's not.
No, not necessarily. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time. But when you're out here looking for what you want, sometimes things that are very specific, it's like you can date literally anyone, which I'm so glad you brought where we just somehow landed on this, because this is going to for the next question. But you can date anyone you want.
Yeah.
Right. But the more you want to narrow out kind of what you want for what you're looking for in a partner, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you realize that there's not so many options.
Right. So why people do that?
But it's a good question to ask at any point in your relationship. What you want in your relationship.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're in this relationship for 5 weeks or 5 months or 5 years. What you want will still be what you want.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the question, most important question, who you swiping on Tinder? You are swiping on Tinder. Who you swiping?
Me personally?
Yeah, who you swiping?
Well, okay. So let me tell you this. I went on a date with a man months ago who I do a lot of first dates because I don't like people. I don't like a lot of people. When I like somebody, I like them. But so we had a first date, and after I was like, this, I can tell you now, not interested. And I'm a very honest person, so I would like to know. But the people I tell they appreciate the honesty. Yeah. They take it. This, I don't have men attacking me or anything like that.
Okay.
Not at this point. at this point, I wouldn't even go with a man who would, end up fearing rejection so much. Y'all are used to rejection. So if I say it nicely, come on, you gonna be mad still.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point of that is
better be a lot of emojis in that text.
Him and another man in my life, they were sort of like preoccupied in a way about who I would end up with. Like if you didn't pick me, what do you want? Like sort of like that. So the way.
Yo, what a position to be in for those guys. Like, I'm the final choice.
Because in the land of Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Talk about the land of Atlanta. Dating in Atlanta.
Dating in Atlanta, where the perception of men is that they have so many options. When men perceive, even if it's not true, when men perceive themselves to have so many options, well, they just go, because there's like a never-ending supply of hot women that I can share my time with.
Yeah.
For my perspective, right? I'm not from Atlanta. Yeah. And I'm coming from an abundance mindset of basically I can get any man I want. I don't want any man, but I can get what works for me. And so what works for me I've never really had a list. The list, if there was a list, the list would have like a bunch of kindness and compassion sort of things on it. Yeah. But I've said, I've ended with someone spiritual, someone business minded, and someone kind. The package that it comes in doesn't really matter, but the man who's spiritual is also healthy, right? He might not be a vegetarian, but he's conscious about what he eats. He works out. He might not be religious or whatever, but he understands how life works, and he can make sure that life works.
Oh man, this is a complex guy.
Yeah, and so yeah, I met someone like that, and it's been going very nicely.
Well, I didn't ask who you met.
I know,
just ask who you're swiping.
I'm just saying, I'm not swiping anything.
Hey, fella.
Haven't swiped in a while.
You're doing it. You're doing it, buddy. Yeah.
But yeah, I think lists are difficult, and I think like stuff like Tinder. I mean, all the online dating things are a little bit difficult because there's nothing like an in-person sharing of energy with another person.
When you finally get there, though, and you meet them, you're sharing that energy. And you're doing all of that.
But part of the dating process is it's just a lot.
It
taxing. Just takes a lot of energy.
A lot of energy, yeah.
So I've thought about doing a video about how I date, how I get to where I am, because I think I'm very logical in a way.
You think there's a good standard practice on how to do it?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Hold on. Let me get this in real quick.
People just pop up like 11 o'clock at night.
Giving you wild texts. Yo.
I had to block a couple people.
You blocking? I'm blocking.
Well, see, you can't disrespect me and then I still engage with you.
Guys are a little different. Girls are a little wilder when it comes to guys.
I don't know.
Because we so easy.
Guys are so easy?
I think so. It's like, yo, can I come over? And it's like, yeah.
It's not so easy the other way. Once you have that bond with somebody, or the emotional investment.
That's true. It is just as simple.
Yeah.
But with guys, like, we don't need to have that thing. So that kind of coupling is not there. So in terms of having that emotional intimacy is not required.
Gotcha.
So in the way in for girls, if a girl hits your DMs, then it's almost a done deal. It's almost a done deal.
What do you need for it to be a done deal? Attractiveness?
Yeah, between attractiveness, it's almost a done deal. Depending on what kind of guy you're dealing with. Like there is Leave version 1 and Leave version 3. I may be Leave version 5 right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What does that mean?
Look,
in terms of savageness,
just roll with it. I don't know. So, Leave version 1 would be like, depending on attractiveness, if she hit the DM, I'd be like, oh, yeah.
And you get DMs.
Come through every once in a while. It's not like I'm just like flooding. Like, yo, I gotta turn my phone off. You know what I mean?
I don't get
but every once in a while.
Yeah.
DMs back when, but now there's just random text messages from certain whoever I was dealing with.
Who needs an itch scratched? I got it.
Who needs an itch scratch that I probably met a year or two or whatever ago, and then now it's just like popping up. Hey, what are you doing?
Right.
It's like, yo, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
And then 4 texts in.
Come through.
There we go. You could have started with that. You know what I mean?
No, you can't start with that.
Girls a little different. So anyway, we were talking about the main way. Like the main way. There's a right way. There's an optimal way. A right way.
Well, see, the thing is, I know I'm not like most women, and so I feel like that doesn't really help the situation. One of the things that so in person, right? The men that I've engaged with and ended up in a relationship in person meeting is we worked together or worked in proximity to each other, or we went to school together.
Mm-hmm.
If a man approaches me out in public,
Mm-hmm.
he's 100% getting shut down.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm at the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
if wherever, because I know that the men who approach women
Mm-hmm.
in public are
Mm-hmm.
approaching lots of women in public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I generally have always been in a relationship, and so I've always had like the energy of don't talk to me.
Mm.
Don't talk to me.
Mm.
And so if a man approaches me while my energy says don't talk to me, I think he's very disrespectful. I'm avoiding eye contact. I'm not trying to check for you. So in person is different. I think it's if you are specifically looking for a man in person, then you have to do the things, go to the places where the men are, which is why dating once you get out of school, like you were supposed to find your partner. Like if you wanted to be in a marriage, you were supposed to find your partner like before. Like in my mind, I've already had like who I was supposed to marry, but you know, life happens, and so you roll with it. But once you get in this like age, it's like, well, you're probably not gonna meet them at work. You're probably not gonna meet them at work.
Yeah.
You might meet them at a party. Or like a
Yeah.
networking event. Like I've met people at networking kind of things. Other than that, you should utilize the dating app things.
I think the dating apps work.
Well, the dating apps work? Sure, we could say that. I think it's less about the app and more about how you use it.
Correct. Right.
So what's difficult? Did I just do a video on the truth? And I just recorded a video called Why Men Lie. People don't tell the truth. And I know that. And I feel like I can sift through because how you're talking or what your picture looks like doesn't match or whatever. But that's like one of the first things. People lie. And if people, it's easier to lie on an online platform. And so I think you should go with the mindset that, you know, a lot of people out here are not telling the truth. That's okay. You're not looking for everybody. You're looking for one person. But to get to the one person, like I tell you, just have online dating is you're just sifting through a lot to find something meaningful. So the approach that I heard somebody recently say, I've been consuming so much information. I heard somebody recently say, if you want to get married and you want like if you're a woman and you want to marry a man who's marriage minded, you should have sex with him on the third date. I don't see any problem with that.
I think that's good advice.
In fact, and so when I think about like myself and who I've dated and how selective I've been, it's been clear to me that we connect in all these ways. Why would I not also want to connect with you in this way? Because it's a way of bonding and getting to know each other. So I have a lot of first dates because there's nothing like in person. And so I'll set up a weekend of 3 or 4 dates. And people usually don't make it to a second date.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not here for a quick meal.
Yeah.
I'm here for something meaningful.
Yeah.
Which is so depending on where you are in your life. I think just be upfront with people. There are lots of people who are looking for someone to go out with.
Yeah.
There are some people who are looking for someone to come home to.
Right.
Do we align or not? And it's like all these things have to align. We have to be attracted to each other. We have to be compatible. We have to be looking for the same thing at the same time. When those things align, there's going to be a second date for me. So I'll spend like a month just strategically dating. And 1 or 2 people might make it to a second date. And then it's like, well, who fits best in my life for what I'm looking for? Because I don't know how to date multiple people. I know that's like one of the recommendations. But I'm like, why would I date I just don't get it. I just don't get the dating multiple people.
It's just emotionally taxing. The more people that you're adding onto your life, it really depends on what you want. When I was younger, I thought it was smarter to date multiple people because that's what family told me to do.
Yeah.
Family's like, yeah, you date multiple people. But the thing is, what they wanted at that time was different from, was actually probably the same of what I wanted.
Yeah.
They just wanted to date multiple people so they have a good chain of people to, hit up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or, whatever the case is. Intimacy can still happen if you're dating multiple people, but it's just more emotionally taxing to you because you can't, it's like, say you're fueled up and your tank's at 200, you can't just give everybody 100.
That's true.
You can, and if you're dating 3 people,
How you do
if you're dating 4 people, everybody's getting 50. You know what I'm saying? Or one person's getting the maximum and everybody's getting less. So
the dating advice that I've seen for women dating multiple men is to not have sex. Because the idea is, and I guess I understand.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right? So you're dating multiple people until one of them commits to you.
What does that mean to commit to someone?
When the man says we're in an exclusive relationship.
Yikes. Okay.
So I feel like that's an American way of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my experience or my perspective when it comes to like dating. Generally not what I've done. But I've had learning experiences where people don't view relationships or the investment in a relationship the same way I have. So I've learned from that. And so instead of saying, what would I think I used to say, I'm looking for something. What did I used to say? I'm looking for something. I used to say something.
Mm.
It was a way of saying I'm looking for something. Oh, I'm looking for something with potential. That's what I used to say. I used to tell guys, oh, I'm looking for something with potential. Now, I said, well, I'm looking for a husband. That weeds out a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because
easy.
Because I've also I wasn't hip to men being vague, or the vagueness meaning I don't want anything serious. I didn't realize that's what it meant. Vague meant I didn't want something serious. So it's easy now to say, what are you looking for? And if he's not saying marriage, then we're not looking for the same thing.
Well, I've been on many a dates, and I never said I was looking for a particular title in the relationship. Even when I was dating for a long period of time, I would just say I'm looking for for us to grow spiritually, just in our relationship. I know it's new, but I'm looking for spiritual growth in that sense, because marriage is something that's specific, and you'll really see exactly what it looks like, when you're married. But like I was saying, when the cameras were, just off a minute ago, that you can get the marriage, you can have this whole thing, but then you're spiritually voided. Your relationship has no energy in it, nothing at all. So I used to be, when I first started dating, very minded on, hey, this is what I want. In a weird way, it kind of almost ruined a relationship with me saying, hey, no, you're my girlfriend, we might get married. You know what I mean? Like, we might, you never know. We might get married. Like, this is us, you know what I mean?
Men who want to get married are very clear about when they want to get married.
Right. But a lot of the other pieces, the building block pieces that are most important in a marriage, to cut down, the most important pieces of life were things that were voided. So now I go like, hey, I want to start it from the inside out instead of the outside in. You know what I mean? Like me and you go together. I'm like, no. How about we just grow spiritually with each other first? You know what I mean? And then we could think about if me and you go together, like right after that. Anyway, that's been one way that it's for going on any kind of dating apps or meeting somebody. When I meet them, those are kind of like the lookouts. Like and the way that I would engage.
Yeah.
Because my entire thing was, yeah, I can get to meet you and get to know you, but I want to really see like where you're at,
Right.
you know, where
Right.
and where your mind is, and that kind of helps, of course, like how you're saying,
that's a perspective.
start weeding down that funnel.
I also think about arranged marriages,
Mm.
where it's and so part of,
That's interesting.
because the goal is to grow together.
Right.
And so when I view partnerships, it's really about us being aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what ends up happening in like arranged
Arranged
marriages.
marriages, yeah.
It's not
Very successful.
very successful. It's not this excitement sort of love. It's this like agape kind of love that gets stronger and stronger in times that you solidify it. But in the beginning, it's we together.
Yeah. Me and you go together.
This is what we do.
We
can let's figure this out. Which makes me think about those.
It's like problem solving.
Those marriage shows where people get married in days or something.
Yeah.
I don't get
It's a lot. I watched one of them.
Those are like
with the
arranged marriages, I guess.
Those are very much arranged marriages. They're on Netflix now.
Oh.
Love is Blind is one of those.
I'm not watching that show.
I loved it.
I heard it was good TV.
Yeah, it's good TV.
Yeah. But yeah, so to each his own. That's why we're all human.
Those
were
were
all different.
some good tips. I mean, just your strategy with with what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's some guy out there benefiting from that.
There is.
Oh yeah. Hey, this was great. I enjoyed so much.
Yes. This was
your time spent here. This was very cool. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Spirit Soul Sense. I have a Facebook too and an Instagram. Same thing, Spirit Soul Sense.
Yes. Awesome. You can find us here. Again, this has been another episode of the Low Up Podcast to make you blow up podcast, guys. We got a lot, so now it's time to give a lot. If you like this, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us, and it really helps, whoever else it's going to help too. So go ahead and do that. Till then, though, we out, baby.